Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Dream, Do, Done. This is your accountability show, one-ish, every Monday afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. We really talk about not just dreaming, actually doing so you can get it done. It's about the process to progress. Everybody wants overnight success. Overnight success doesn't happen. I just listened to a good friend of mine on a broadcast. He's actually my trademark attorney. He said, wealth is a marathon. It's not overnight. A lot of people just want to build and have success and it just, wow, it happens. You have to do the work. Lord knows I'm a witness. So we're excited that at Dream, Do, Done, we get to talk about that process. We get to share with you with my co-host, the how-to coach, Tamara Hartley, and the Pulpit Chick, Serena Brown Travis, and myself, Dr. Stacie NC Grant. So we thank you for being here. We thank you for being a part of our show. We launched this show a year and a half ago, ladies. I cannot believe that we're a year and a half in because we stopped waiting to do it and we did it. So Dream, Do, Done, we live what we preach. It was a conversation. The three of us would get together and mastermind and talk through some of the various things that we were working on. And we said, hey, why don't we just bring this to the public? Because we shock ourselves with some of the nuggets that fly out. We're like, well, let's go on and share it with the world. So that is what we've done. And you all have been so welcoming. You've shared the broadcast. And that's what we're going to ask you to do today. Just go ahead and press the share button and share it out because there are people who need answers right now. We're living in a time where so much uncertainty is happening, where so much tragedy is around us, where so much challenge is really at the point, the tipping point of where our country and our world is going to be in the history books. And we want to be on the right side of history. We want to be a part of helping you not only survive, but thrive post what we're seeing happening in the world. So press the share button now and let somebody know that Dream, Do, Done is actually here one-ish earlier on the one today. So I would turn it over to my co-host while we greet those of you who tuned in already so they can say hello themselves. So over to you, Tamara Hartley.
Hey everyone, I hope you all have had a great week, an amazing week. I actually had some time to actually do an impromptu mastermind and I used this show as an example. So it's so funny that Stacie opened with just that. But I always hear from my clients, they don't know where to start. They don't have everything right. They don't know exactly what to do. And sometimes that can keep you so paralyzed that you never start. Dream, Do, Done was one of those things, honey, we did not know exactly how we were going to get on Facebook Live with all three of us. We didn't know what time it was going to be. There are a lot of unknowns when we started. And a year and a half later, we are still perfecting and leveling up, actually. We got a little thing going on in our videos. We up leveled in the studio. So I am encouraging everyone to get started. It's not always going to be perfect. We've had bumps on the show, but we are still here. And we've been here consistently, no matter the weather. Dream, Do, Done gets it done. And that's what we are inspiring and encourage all of you to do.
Absolutely. And hey, Craig, thank you for joining. Appreciate you sharing this out with Michael. I hope he's able to join it. Over to you, Pulpit Chick.
Hello, everyone. I hope, like Tamara mentioned, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We still have so much going on in the world. And of course, that still means we're praying, but we're also taking action. So this weekend, I put another mask on and I joined. We had a march this weekend at our city hall. And we had to wear our white and jeans. And so I had so much fun doing that. And it just brought back so many memories of conversations that I would have with my mother or my father about how they would march or cook dinners at church or do car washes to raise money for various organizations. So I had an opportunity to, as Tamara said, not only get started, but to actually start putting some action and movement and muscle into what's going on in today's time. So nonetheless, I hope you all have done the same. And it's so good to be with you today. And we look forward to today's show.
Thank you, Pulpit Chick. And hey, Donovan, how you doing? One of our frat brothers tuning in. So today's topic, right? What's your call to action? Like, what are you going to do? There's so much that's happening right now. And as you said, Serena, you've been a part of a march. I've been a part of a couple here in my local area. I'm actually organizing one with a group of other members of the D9 sorority and fraternities, as well as our friends and colleagues for the 27. So there's a lot going on in the midst of running a business, in the midst of running a family, and just dealing with what we're seeing. But what I've been prayerful about is for God to guard my tongue and my actions, that they actually add value. Because what I'm seeing getting mixed into all of this conversation are layers that need to be separated, because there are multiple issues that need to be addressed, right? It's not just one. And if we commingle, sometimes we lose the importance of each one of those issues that need to be raised. And everybody can't do everything, but focus in on what you're going to do. What's your part? What's your ability that you can add value? That's always where I start. When people ask me, well, what do you say and what should you do? In the moment, ask yourself, is this going to add value to this conversation, to this situation? Is it going to make a difference or a change? Because sometimes it's our own ego and everybody want to hear themselves talk. Everybody is a commentator and a pundit. Look, we need more action. We need people doing things that are adding value, and especially those in business. When we talk about your call to action today, because most of our audience are business owners, or you are working in corporate America and you're looking to do a side hustle or add some more money because you're realizing that a job might not be the way you find your money during retirement. So what other things are you putting in place so that you can have that nest egg? So your call to action helps you to focus on where you're putting your energy and how you're showing up with your business. Serena just made a good point. If you can't protest, you might be able to bring some water to the end of the rally to give people water, right? If you can't necessarily do the water, maybe you can write a check for the bail fund. And people are like, oh, well, silence doesn't always mean that you're complicit. Yeah, it does. Like, you got to do something. Okay, because people are hurting. People are in pain. It's traumatic. I don't know why I turned on the press conference 2 hours ago to watch Rashard Brooks' family and the attorney talk. I'm going to be honest, family, it tore me up. I had to turn it off. I had to go in the bathroom. As a mother of 2 Black boys, a wife to a Black man, a daughter of a Black man, a niece of Black men, a cousin to, the pain is too much. And we have to find ways that are constructive with our business and our responses, that our call to action is not just the pain and the anguish and the cries, but that we are pushing the needle on change, justice, reform. Of course, that's another show on arguing on how that needs to happen and what needs to happen, but something has to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
You say an example, because Serena did mention that in Columbus, Ohio, we had a march downtown. It was Black Women of Excellence. So it was flooded with women from everywhere. And it was just such a beautiful sight. I did watch plenty of it online, but I was unable to go. So, I made sure I watched. I made sure that I posted. My sisters were standing in the gap, but I also produced shirts that were worn at the rally. So there's many things that you can do to contribute, to show your support, your love, and solidarity. Like she said, everyone can't go out and protest and march in the streets, but there's other ways to contribute and be involved. Even watching it as it was happening was moving for me, and not doing anything else at that time, but being involved. But it was a beautiful sight to see the shirts that I made with the names of the people who were affected on the backs of them, just getting out there. People were looking at them and more people want them. It's really bringing awareness. And if you have a business, if you have a checkbook, if you have anything that you can contribute. Have you ever read that book? I don't know what it's called, but I know I read in elementary school, Stone Soup. Everybody in the community brought what they had to add to the soup. And that is really a concept that we really need to take to heart as entrepreneurs, as people who want to start side hustles. How can you use those avenues to contribute to what's going on in the world right now? Everyone is needed.
Absolutely. I'm just checking to see if a special guest is able to join us today, because she has started just that, a call to action, especially as we think about economics, how we think about the fact that a lot of people, because of COVID-19 being the crisis that it still is. So let's remember, the Rona is still alive, people. So if you're out there protesting and you're on the front line, wear your gloves if you need to, put on your mask, have your sanitizers. I've been out. I stepped back. I don't have to be all crowded in. I make sure my mask is on. I have my sanitizer in my back pocket because it's still happening. I've been too close to this disease to take it lightly. And for the people, this is just a slight tangent, and you know how I rant when things pee me off. For the people who are acting like, oh, it's a conspiracy, the coronavirus ain't real, and it's this ploy and that ploy. How could you say that when we've lost the amount of lives that are attached to their loved ones and their families, that you would discount just how serious this coronavirus is? That's insulting. So for anybody who's out there with that narrative, I rebuke you, because we're talking about 100,000+ lives just in this country.
Absolutely. And look, and I said, even if it is a conspiracy, people are dying. People I know are dying. People we all know and love are dying. So throw that out the windows. Now it's time for solutions. However it got here, whatever it is, it's real.
And the healthcare workers who are taking care of our loved ones, our cousins, our neighbors, they are deeply affected by it. I have a girlfriend who's a nurse who, the PPE, all of the gear, it's not available. She even still said it's not available. At some point, she said one day they were just literally walking through mist of Lysol to attempt to disinfect their entire suits before they went into until they went into another patient's room. So it's not a conspiracy, but if you don't want to believe that people are dying, any of those things, we still have healthcare workers who are deeply affected. And so, and we so appreciate who they are and them still being on the front lines. Like, they are indeed our heroes at this point, because they show up day after day after day to do this thing. And then they can't go home. We have healthcare workers who are living in tents, who are living in mobile homes so that they don't go home and infect their families. So they are indeed our heroes at this point in time. So again, there's so many people that are being affected, but we also want to acknowledge the people who are trying to make us better. And I know they've been sounding the alarm to say, hey, this thing is not over. In fact, it's mutating, it's becoming worse. Let's just still follow the orders. But as you mentioned, Stacie, there's so much that we need to do. And I remember quotes, from Malcolm X that says, by any means necessary. So no matter what storm continues to come, we're at a point now that we have to do something. All of us, as Tamara said, whether it's you making a t-shirt, you're marching, you're on the front lines, you're on the back lines, you're writing a check, we're all doing something. So one of the things that my restaurant has done and that we've done individually, number one, as a business owner, I know that I have to be just as visible in public events as I am at our restaurant. We know that churches are closed. So right now, people don't have the option to go to churches and say, hey, let's get registered to vote, or hey, make sure you find out about the COVID testing. So now the restaurant has become that hub. And so literally for us, and I've heard people say, oh, well, I just want to come and get my food and go home. That's not where we are right now. I know that God has placed each and every one of us as a vessel for what we have. And so right now, I'm using what has been given to me in this little itty bitty small area. And Tamara can attest to it. It's very small, but nonetheless, the impact has been, I pray, has been enormous. And so we have voter registration forms inside. We have signs that we have a chicken right here. Make sure you vote right here. Like, it's side by side. It's side by side. We have get out the vote, get your pork chops, and then don't forget to go get your health test. So nonetheless, I think what's imperative, and I say all that, and I'm not even joking, like I'm actually dead serious.
That's
but I think what's more imperative than anything else is that, to ask God to be a vessel. What's in your hands? What's at your fingertips? We're all looking for other, some people are looking for big ways to get involved, but literally, trust me, it is at your fingertips, whether or not it's your Instagram platform. You don't have to go out and make a whole bunch of waves and exhaust yourself. It doesn't cost me anything to put up a vote sign. It cost me anything when the customer comes and we say, hey, we appreciate you coming by. Also, don't forget to vote. All you have to do is scan this on your phone. It doesn't cost us anything to do that. And so I would just urge you all, what's at your fingertips that you can use right now to make a difference for what's going on? Because no one has the option to sit still. No one has the option to sit still.
Yeah. Nobody. And there's so much that you can do. You just mentioned your girlfriend who's a nurse. So PPE and the access to disinfectant is not what it should be, which is a shame that we're how many months into this crisis and we're still dealing with this all across the country. But there's been businesses. So once again, here goes an example. I want to say it's Mama Vodka or Black Vodka. I don't remember which business, but she turned part of her plan into creating disinfectant so that they could sell it. Now that's a smart pivot. And we've been talking about different ways in which your business can adjust to the times that we're living in and offer a solution and provide some sort of added value in the climate that we're living in. That's how we have to think. You know, I see that, hey, Celia, she's here. She's talking about the aftermath of COVID is affecting our kids with mental health. And the suicide numbers are going up. They're confused. And then kids of color who are seeing Black men killed. Can you imagine all of the confusion that's going on in their head? So maybe part of that is, how do you support that community? What can you do? Maybe it's some private coaching and classes that you provide in a virtual telehealth way, that these children can have conversations in a safe place, that they can ask questions. Nothing is too small in times of crisis. Everybody can do something in order to help us get through the nightmare that we're experiencing in 2020. And it's going to give birth to something new. And you want to be a part of those who are delivering the solutions, because we're never going to see how things are lining up with timing, that people are restricted because of COVID-19. So there's more time for you to think about and react in a way that's tangible. Like, when are we going to see everything line up like this? We didn't want to see the crisis physically. We didn't want to see the crisis mentally. We didn't want to see the crisis emotionally that we're experiencing with both pandemics, but we're here now. So what are we going to do while we're here? What's our call to action? What's your call to action? What are you responsibly doing in your homes? Even just having conversations. My oldest son, he just ran by before the broadcast because his running joke is like, Mom, moving. I'm going to Canada. They don't kill Black people in Canada. No, you're not going anywhere. Right. But having conversations with our kids so they can express what they're feeling, what they're seeing, listening to them and giving counsel, that could be something that you're doing. Maybe you can provide an internship to a young person. I have one intern. We're about to get a couple more interns to help with different things during the summer, because in New York City, they cut the whole summer youth employment program. Yeah. So what are these kids going to do during the summer? And we don't want them in spaces and places where idleness breeds some next drama. So you can find an intern. That could be your give back. Maybe financially, you're helping to support some of the vetted organizations that are really on the ground, pushing for policy and advocating for changes in government. There's so many things, but there has to be a call to action. And I've personally been prayerful that I'm really deliberate in what I say, how I use the platform I'm blessed to have, and how I inspire action at the end of the day. Because sitting around twiddling your thumbs, like trying to hide, waiting for it to pass, that ain't gonna work. Because we don't
work. Or watching TV, getting scared. I had to redeem myself. I've been watching TV with popcorn in my head. I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't working.
That is the truth. So I'm checking with our special guest because she was so frustrated watching everything that was happening and trying to figure out, what can I do? And, you know, economics, that's her background, right? That's the thing that she lives and she does, and she is here. So I'm going to be bringing you on. She just took her camera off, but I'll be bringing you on. You know, I'm doing production, ladies. Like, look at what the Rogan did.
See, we up leveling. See, the studio is up leveling. I told you.
Absolutely. And it's about finding a response that worked for her. And she's doing a whole 7-day educational challenge series around economics. And it's called the Economic Resurrection. And it's really an opportunity for us to have some real hard conversations about what we need to do to get past the dream, to actually do something so we can get it done and hold ourselves responsible. So here she is, none other than the beautiful and talented Vanessa Lindley from the Lindley Group. She also, like Tamara and Serena, are part of my Faithpreneur faculty and family, and they'll get a chance to, of course, interact with her for Faithpreneur Weekend 2020. But I said, ladies, we got to bring Vanessa on because she is talking about a call to action. And this call to action is important because a lot of people are sitting around trying to figure out what to do and how to do it. And she's mapped out 7 days. She didn't decide voluntarily this is what she wanted to do. It was an urge on God. And she has a similar story to you, Serena. Both of you have been dragging your feet, but you in seminary. So you got to do what you got to do. When the Lord says yes, you can't say no. Yes.
Yes, Lord. Listen, someone had prayed one time. They said, I told the Lord, Lord, sit on me. And I'm like,
I just finished my 2nd year and I'm still running. Like, how are you in it and still like?
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you, but it's too hard to run, man. He got some hands on him now.
Oh Lord! I'm telling you, every time I try to run, and so it was so funny. After COVID, I was at home. I was like, oh, the semester ended. My kids were, homeschool. I was like, I'm gonna rest, and then everything just exploded, and I was like, all right, God, and I could not sleep. I did this program, and I was like. And today, Clyde said it. He was like, you're preaching about copyright. And so I've been praying to God. I've been in this business space for so long, but had this call for seminary and preaching. And I was like, how am I going to combine the two? I still love talking about economics and politics. And I'm trying to match it with the Bible. But then I get emotional with the Bible. How am I going to mix it together? But this was it. This was the launch where I called it a resurrection because in the Bible, we know that there are shifts in time with new things have to happen. The old is out, the flood. I mean, we know that has to happen. Now is the time, and no one can deny it because we're all experiencing it. We're experiencing it differently, but no one can deny that now is the time for a shift to happen. And for me, it's going to be for my people and economics. And so I'm going to try to keep throwing some Bible in there. Look at God. No matter what, I'm going to be obedient. And it's so funny. All of my guests, which has been a blessing, they're expecting that of me. And they don't realize that they're calling it out of me. Obviously, Stacie, I stay close to her because I'd be like, all right, my praying sister going to make sure I say something about God today. And other people, they're like, bringing it back. I was like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. You're going to keep sure I stay focused. So
that's so funny. One time I tried to be inclusive and I was like, the universe and the sun, and the Lord was like, you better say my name.
And I was going to say too, but that's how it happens. It's a natural action. You don't have to force it together. It's coming together, and it's right before your eyes. And that's when I'm like, wow, this is his plan. And that's how you know, because it comes together. You don't have to explain to people, yeah, I do this, but I do this. No, God's going to make the way and you're going to do it perfectly. So I am just, look, I was getting goosebumps when you started talking because that's how it works.
I did the whole thing, which is crazy. I did the whole everything. My friend was like, you even made the graphics. That I would never do that. Like, it was just like I had to touch every part of it just for this week. And it was my way. I couldn't march. I couldn't go outside and march. So I really touched every single part of it. And one of my husband's friends was like, really? Mark was like, she's a one-man wrecking crew. I would not normally do that. I mean, I have resources. I have a part-time person. I have consultants. I was just like, I needed to do this. God was like, this is your assignment.
And I need you to tell them about this. And I'm so glad that you said that because we were just talking about perfection and people waiting. That's the whole purpose of Dream Do Done. It's the process to progress. And if you don't start, then there's no progress, right? There's nothing that you've done. And my second life lesson, I talk about it all the time. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting started so you have something to perfect. The minute Vanessa said yes, everybody lined up to be a part of the 7 days. Everything lined up in the topics. We couldn't have planned it more. Like, I was a part of it yesterday. And I was like, look at going. Like, I got another speaker for Faithpreneur Weekend 2020. What are we doing?
And I didn't even know he had that much history that he shared on that day. So that's been the blessing too. The people who have come on, and I had an idea of what they could contribute, but they've given even more than I imagined. And that's what you know is of God. It has nothing. And like you said, so your platform, Dream Do Done. And that's what I'm saying today. Like, let's just get started and things will come in place. And I'm just so grateful, for that. And even to be here, I was like, Stacie gonna make me do this. He was like, catch your breath. I was like,
And wait a minute. We know how Stacie acts. So good to see you, girl. Good to see you, girl.
Moving right
on in because you was out.
Moving right along. So explain the economic resurrection, because I'm not gonna let Tamara tell all my business when I get nudge people to do things.
Well, it is that it's a platform that for economic justice for Black people who have been discriminated in a racist capitalist society. I'm bringing people together for education, resources, and access for economic justice, but also justice-driven public advocacy. I'm having people build Black economies, but also advocate for governmental policies that will support them. So in my 7 days, which is only the kickoff, and I know God's gonna keep revealing what happens next, and it's coming already every day. I'm just doing like a fire hose of information, adding history, contextual history of where we are and how we got there from governmental standpoints and policy standpoints, because some people don't realize how that affects the way we do business, every area of our life. And then giving resources. Okay, now we're here. What do you need to do to start your business, to grow your business? I'm even adding, some people are not leaving corporate America. So how are we going to navigate our Blackness and build our personal economies no matter where we are? And then governmental contracting. So for 7 days, I came up, God unloaded on me, because I swear I don't know how these names came about. But for 7 days, I had 7 topics that I felt would really hit that area of both Black economics, policy, history, and action, and then putting people in touch with the resources that they need in order to get it. So the first day was the kickoff and maximizing your personal economy. So starting with your own house. Then generational wealth and leaving a legacy. And I had an investing person, an estate planning attorney. Then it was yesterday, Dr. Stacie NC Grant. She did keeping the faith as an entrepreneur and helping entrepreneurs grow and build their business, and then calling on the church. So yesterday, Dr. Malcolm Punter, he came on, his organization. They do real estate development in Harlem, and they use different congregations, not just churches, but mosques and synagogues. So it's a faith-based initiative using a collective energy to build economic environments. And so we want to spread that around the country. Today, we did policy, politics, and Black economics. So people understanding how policy works and how they have to be involved in the political and politics in order for their personal economy and their businesses. And then we also talked about, protecting your brand through legal copyrights. And that was Assemblyman Clyde Vannell. Tomorrow, it's going to be Black Lives Matter in corporate and nonprofit America. So again, for people who are not leaving and starting their own businesses, they still have to navigate themselves. So I have someone on my team who's actually going to draft letters, templates, and we as a collective are going to start writing these corporations. So if you work at a corporation that the stuff is not right, we don't always want to put you up there to have to be the person that says something. But we can all write letters and say, can we do a pay audit? Can we do a promotion audit? What does your C-suite look like? Because all these corporations are putting out these platitudes. What is your policy? What does your pay look like? So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Then the future of Black business. I'm going to have someone come on talking about generational businesses and someone talking about e-commerce, because that is the future of business, period. And then Thursday is going to be owning property is power. So I'm going to have someone come on for people who don't own homes yet. We're going to talk about how to buy a home. And then I'm going to have a person who does $50 million in real estate investing here in New York. Black people. This is all Black people, 2 Black men. And so he's going to talk about real estate investing and help break the stereotype, or the fear, I should say, in investing. Then we're going to finally, on Friday, it's Black Businesses Matter. We're going to celebrate Juneteenth. I'm still figuring out all the celebrations, but the speakers for that day are going to talk about doing business with the government. And I have someone who does business in DC with the federal government, multi-million dollars, and someone here in New York who does business with the local New York government in multi-million dollars. So I rolled out 7 days of Black excellence to help us build our personal and business economies and take back our power and promoting advocacy. So voting and getting in touch with your elected officials. So I'm excited, and every day is rolling out, and I'm excited to be here because we're gonna make these dreams get done, as y'all say.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Just listening to that, I'm like, wow. And I want the people to understand, she did not spend 2 years planning this. and you heard all that activity, all that action. She did not spend 2 years planning that. And that's what I mean when it says, when you get that divine inspiration, because that's definitely what she had, divine inspiration, it all comes together. Have you ever created something that was like, where the heck did that come from? How did I do that? Well, you didn't. God did it. It was your divine inspiration. You have to be the vessel and just do it, because he will get someone else to do it if you don't want to do it.
True.
Yeah.
Today, like I was sitting on a book. I shared that I was sitting on a book, had a title. I used to sell it at events without it being copyrighted. And someone else published a book with the same name. Didn't know me. It was another financial person. I was like, dang it. I had to come up with another name, but sitting on the dreams. So yes.
Well, I was going to say, as a fellow sister of yours in the seminary field, in the running field, running from God, I know for sure, and I'm so happy for you that God has given this to you. And when it seems like he's spoon feeding it to you, someone once told me, I was frustrated. I said, if I knew what the Lord was trying to do, then, I would be cool. I would jump on board. And so this pastor shared with me, he said, God is spoon feeding it to you, because if you knew, you would manipulate it. And so therefore, I know. So therefore, I was so done. I wanted to find a rebuttal, and I was like, well, I'll be darned. That's exactly right.
Thank you for that word today.
So I love how he's giving it to you, and it literally seems as if he's had a teaspoon just doing this one bit at a time. And I'm so grateful that you are following your calling, because other than that, he'll keep you up at night. I mean, Benadryl didn't even I tell you, I tried it all.
One day
he's stronger than Benadryl. He's stronger than anything that says it's a sleep agent. He will wake you up.
Yeah. And you got to answer the call. You're like, okay, the run is going to take you around and around and around and around. And you're like, I'm back here again.
Right. One time I was going to even pray to go to sleep, and I'm like, okay, I'm not. What is it, Lord?
So true.
I'm so excited for you. And I mean, really, there's so much, as we know, so much economics in the Bible anyhow. So I know literally probably one day, all of a sudden, all those scriptures are going to hit you. Boom, 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 boom. And then you're going to be in the word like this, like, oh, wow.
I already took Old Testament, New Testament, and I've written papers on it, but I'm still working on it. Like Clyde gave a great parable. I was like, Dad, I should have given that parable, buddy. I'm like, yes, I did read about that. It's gonna come to me. But yes, thank you for that word. You preaching to me, to Serena. So I need both of those words today. Me, and the scripture's gonna come, and I know that, and that's gonna be the next book. I'm working on it, slowly. How I'm gonna combine the two, because it is important. And people, I teach it in my classes, and I've been talking about this week about, one of the main misinterpretations of scripture is this love of money. Mm-hmm. People think it's evil, that money is evil, so they won't go for it. And it is a bad theology. It's, I'm not teaching people to worship money, but we need a viable economy. Yeah. And our Black people are suffering. Some of us have achieved some certain level of comfort, but everybody has not. And ours is only temporal, and it may be gone tomorrow. So how do we now, gird up our houses? Look, I'm gonna use some scripture. Gird up our house. y'all gonna bring this out of me. How are we gonna gird up our houses so that we create some generational sustainability? And I say wealth, and I use wealth, and not as like everyone's gonna be rich and famous, but how can we have economic security and be able to have it for generations? And that is biblical, but people use that, and it keeps them away from wanting to earn more, keep it, invest it. So that is how God is going to use me.
Look, all I was going to add to that, besides amen, was the fact is the love of money is the root of all evil. If that's what you're chasing, if you're chasing money, that takes you outside of biblical teaching. That takes you outside of putting God first. That takes you outside of allowing everything that you do to be ordered by God. But he didn't say he don't have no money. He said a wise man gonna leave an inheritance for his children. So one can't cancel out the other. We have to do our part to be good stewards of what we have. And he gave it to us just like my favorite one is 2 Kings, the widower and the oil. He done gave you the oil to fill the vessels, people. I had to learn because my vessels were to the side. So now that I got it right side up, filling up the vessels so that
Look,
you can have what you need.
I was worse than that because I was splitting up other vessels and didn't even look at my own vessels.
Hello. So the call to action, that was what we're talking about today, your call to action. You see why Vanessa Lindley needed to be our special guest for our episode, because she has a 7-day call to action. Like, it's mapped out. Vanessa, you can tell them how they can go ahead and join the group. I mean, within a week, she has over 500 people that joined the group. You tell them.
700, actually. It's almost 700 today with no paid advertising. I mean, every day another 100 people are joining. I mean, the mailing list, people are joining on the group and they're also joining the mailing list with no paid advertising, which has been an awesome blessing. So I started a Facebook group, the Economic Resurrection, where in that group, you know, I share some tips and resources and other people as well. We decided for the 7 days we were going to focus on buying Black businesses exclusively. And we're going to start to think about how we boycott businesses intentionally. But the reality is a boycott takes a lot of intention, organizing, and planning, and the demand for it to really be effective. So my point is that I have to stay in my lane, and I'm going to make sure we are girding up our own personal business economies. We're supporting Black businesses, and I'm going to focus on that first. And we will start to see that what companies we shouldn't do business with primarily because of their bad, you know, ethics. And then, like I said, we're going to do this letter writing campaign to some of the companies that we might still want to do business with. They're doing okay, they're making moves, but they could do better. And so we'll do that as well. So the Facebook group, again, is the Economic Resurrection. If more people are on Instagram, they can follow me at Vanessa Lindley and on Instagram, and it'll take you to a link in my bio that you can join the mailing list if you want to at least get the emails and join via Zoom. And this will continue to roll out. I'm going to be, you know, sending people to Stacie and you all was, you know, to Nat, because it's such, we have such a huge network that we can take care of our people. That's what I want us to be able to do.
And I'm excited about it. And just like you'll see the live taping of Dreams You've Done at Faithpreneur Week in 2020, Vanessa is a part of our revenue segment. And by August, God only knows where he'll take her with the Economic Resurrection. So who knows what she going to download if you register for Faithpreneur Week in 2020. So collaboration is my middle name. And, you know, I'm just so excited to support good work, because you have to add value. There are a lot of sounding brass and tinkering cymbals out in the world. But those who are really legitimately working to make this world better, we want to salute them. We want to encourage that kind of action in the world, because the process doesn't just happen by yourself. There are people who are predestined to be a part of that process to get you to progress. And we hope that Dream Do Done continues to do that for you with the content, the information, and the laughs, because that's one thing you're guaranteed. You tune in 1-ish every Monday, you're going to laugh a little. You might have cried before you came on, but you're going to laugh a little bit, because that's what we do all the time, encouraging each other and the people that we work with. So we thank you for tuning in. Vanessa, we thank you for joining our show today. I'm going to let Serena give her final thoughts, and then Tamara going to bring us on home as we wrap up Dream Do Done. We need a special award because we got it closer to 1-ish today. Jesus. We got one.
No, we did good. we did good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been such a pleasure. I hope you have enjoyed our special guest. I know I have. I already feel connected. I'm going to have to text you, Stacie. I have a book for her to read. But nonetheless, it has been a pleasure to be here with you today. And just remember, action. Action is necessary, but it doesn't have to be anything big. What's at your fingertips? What's in grab's reach? And how can you make a difference with what's in your hand? And so have a great weekend. I know I'm going to pass it over to Tamara Hartley, but it's been more than fun. And I love you all. There's nothing you can do about it.
Wait, you know what? She is so her dad. I just want to say that. But no, this has been a great show, Vanessa. We appreciate you coming. sharing your divine inspiration with us. And even though we're not physically in New York City, if there's anything you need from Serena and I in any way that we can help this initiative and spread the word, definitely reach out to us through Stacie. Let us know what we can do, because we're here to help. We all love to collaborate. And this is just really something that I think people really need to be tuned in and focused on when you talk about economics. Not only just your business, but your life, your legacy. So we're here to support you. So just let us know.
Oh, listen, the name alone, honey, that's going to
yes. I was like,
it came to me also on a download. My first, you'll appreciate this, Serena. I know you're not closing, but my first public sermon I had in my internship, that was the title of it. And I was actually invited to speak at Harvard Divinity School on that same topic, which I was like, what? I'm like, Divinity School, me gonna go talking to people at Divinity. But it was people, they need it, they want it. You know, how do we tie it? Because I think just theologically, we've separated them. And it's time for it.
Listen, I need to see that sermon. So feel free. None of you feel free. Stacie, make her send that to me. And guess what, Vanessa? If I put Stacie on it, you're gonna have to do it. Stacie,
Yes, she's gonna have to share that.
It's such a blessing to reach y'all already.
I'm telling you, these, you know, all of y'all are my ride or dies. I have so many pockets, and now all of my ride or dies are coming together. Like, so I'm just happy about it. It's an army rising up. But before Tamara closes us out, I do just want to underscore how we started the show with me just emotional about Rayshard Brooks, yet another name that's being added to the tragedy that we're watching in this country. And every name is associated with a family. And my heart just really broke for the family again today. So we just want to send up prayers for all of the families, those who never made it to CNN, MSNBC, Fox, WPIX, or whatever station you're watching, because we have so many more lives. And Breonna Taylor's family is still seeking justice. So say their names, remember their names, pray for their families. We will get through this together. Change is uncomfortable. Nothing about change is easy, or is it going to come easy? But we're just praying that we're responsible in our actions and our deeds so that we honor the God in us, for those who believe that that's the word. But we're not going to sit idly by silent while we see injustice happening. So I just wanted to put that prayer out there, because I just had a flash of them in my heart. And that really, it was just, yet again, just too much. So I just wanted to put that out there on behalf of Dream Do Done, that we're praying for all of you and standing in solidarity. And then for the people who acting cray-cray, that are trying to come and just cut up and act a fool for no reason, I rebuke you. So stop it, so we can keep on task with the issues at hand and the call to actions that matter. I wish I had a switch so I can beat everybody that is just taken away from what's important. Just be like my grandmother, spanking everybody, go sit down, so that we can focus on what's important. Okay, I digress. Go ahead, Tim.
No, that is actually how we want to end today's show, with that prayer from Dream Do Done. All of us are in this together. Again, continue to think about how you can contribute and add to what's going on, and how you can really be a support, but also answer your call to action. That is the way we want to end today's show. Make sure you stay tuned to the website, dreamdodone.com, and just stay tuned to what's next and how you can contribute. If you want to reach out to us, you know we're always here. You can leave your comments in the feed as you're watching it, or definitely reach out to us via email or on our website. So have a great week, everyone. We love you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.